Good evening and thank you for joining us. The OPP and other emergency services are investigating a serious motor vehicle collision on Highway 1117. It happened this afternoon near Stewart Lake Road in Herkett. The highway is currently closed between the Pass Lake truck stop and the Red Rock turnoff. That closure is expected to last most of the night. There's no word on any injuries at this time. It's too late now to buy a ticket for the December 50-50 draw, as the Regional Hospital Foundation awarded the nearly $4 million jackpot to Thunder Bay's Sam Mackey on Friday. But anyone who's thinking about getting a ticket for the January draw can still head down to Inner City Shopping Center. The Hospital Foundation had so much success with their pop-up shop there that they're planning to keep it open, at least a little longer. The 50-50 draw pop-up shop in the Inner City Food Court was only intended to stay open for the holidays, but the response has been so overwhelmingly positive, the foundation decided to keep it open on a trial basis. They've committed to staying in the mall until June, and if all goes well, the ticket outlet could become a permanent fixture. Foundation CEO Glenn Craig says the shop helps draw in people who might not be comfortable buying tickets online.
A lot of people, they're just not comfortable using the computer or they want to use cash. Also, a lot of people, they've never played before, so they've come and said, tell me what this is all about. How does this work? And we spend a little time with them and they buy some tickets. So we've seen about 50% greater sales this year in the store than we did last year. And last year was a good year, so that's why we're trying to figure out how to keep it open.
Craig says the big challenge in keeping the shop open after June will be finding enough volunteers to staff the location 7 days a week. A century-old lighthouse on Lake Superior has been designated as a heritage structure by the federal government. The Shagin Island Lighthouse is located about 55 kilometers east of Thunder Bay. The first lighthouse was built there in 1910, but was destroyed by fire a few years later. The current one was built in 1922 and played a crucial role early in the last century for identifying safe passage for lumber, mining, and fishing vessels through a channel filled with rocky outcrops. Nowadays, the area is mainly used for recreation, and the lighthouse is no longer required by the Coast Guard. The ownership of the property was transferred earlier this year to the Canadian Lighthouses of Lake Superior. The volunteer group is now in charge of maintaining it, and Managing Director Paul Mural says the heritage designation will allow them to apply for funding for its upkeep.
For many years now, the Lighthouse Group has been active building tourism and economic development on the North Shore. Shagin was built in 1910 and it allows small vessels to travel on the North Channel. Its designation now as a Lighthouse Heritage Site will allow other funding opportunities to again build tourism and economic development on the North Shore of Lake Superior.
There's currently a few picnic tables, a camping area, and a toilet facility, but the Lighthouse Group plans to add more amenities for visiting boaters and kayakers. Further out in the region now, where a popular Northern Ontario heritage attraction is celebrating what was a very successful 2023. The Canadian Bush Plain Heritage Centre in Sault Ste. Marie saw a big jump in visitors this year, with many making the trip over the border to take in the sights and education. CTV's Mike McDonald reports.
According to the Bush Plains Executive Director, the centre saw a nearly 23% increase in visitors in 2023.
We saw a lot more movement of tourists, a significant increase in U.S. visitors compared to those lovely pandemic years, and we've also increased client events and so on. So we've seen a lot more people come through for a variety of reasons, from fundraising events to just visiting the museum.
Looking ahead to next year, Hilsinger says the centre will continue to expand its children's programming.
We have tiny pilots, 10:30 a.m. Wednesdays for little preschool-aged children, Sky Explorers Sunday afternoons for school-aged children with crafts and all kinds of things to do.
Hilsinger says it's always a challenge to keep the visitors' experience fresh, adding it's an ongoing mission to find new ways to market the centre.
Last year we launched Passion and Persistence, a history of women in Canadian aviation. We are making small improvements to our children's centre, and the list goes on. So we never stop thinking of ways to make it more engaging and fun.
Hilsinger says the Bush Plain will also be exploring more collaborative programming with neighbouring Atomica Insectarium, as well as a continuation of the centre's 55-plus programs. Mike McDonald, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
A new mural was unveiled in West Nipissing's council chamber as a way to pay respect and honor the municipality's neighboring communities. It highlights the area's historical sites, traditions, and was inspired by consultation with nearby wards and communities. CTV's Eric Tashner reports.
Iconic in Sturgeon Falls.
A bright spot on the walls in West Nipissing Council chambers. This new mural is meant to tie all of its communities into one.
It's a great place to live. We're blessed with the abundance of nature and the quality of life that we have. The hunting, the fishing.
It took artist Howie Longfellow half of the year to sketch and digitally design the 24-foot piece of art. In 2016, the local municipal council decided it wanted to pay respect to each of the municipality's communities. Longfellow had worked on designing highway signs, and the mural was born out of that work.
I spent most of my life within the boundaries of West Nipissing, and I have a lot of good memories of going up to River Valley, camping. I currently live in Field.
He led consultations in all of the neighboring communities, finding inspiration from local anecdotes to use in the design.
There was a logging truck that I had used from an old piece of footage, and somebody had mentioned to the gentleman further back into the crowd, hey, that's your old logging truck.
The mural illustrates many of the community's historical sites and traditions, from its famous chip stand French fries to its hot spot for fishing on the bay and lake.
It's about our residents and our community as a whole, and I think that this beautiful piece of art is perfectly reflective of that.
The artwork was unveiled during the local council's last meeting before the new year, and it now hangs within the municipal chambers. The celebration also marks the anniversary of the first year in office for this council.
Each of us, even though we're in a ward system, have a responsibility to make decisions that are reflective of the whole community.
An artistic feast for the eye, serving as a reminder for decision makers.
Just a wonderful thing.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, West Nipissing.
Of course, there's just one more sleep until New Year's Eve, and the owners of the fireworks shops around Thunder Bay say they're seeing a lot more customers this year. The portable trailers have been set up outside several shopping malls over the past week. This afternoon, the pyrotechnics were flying off the shelves as families and individuals drop by to stock up for a big light show in their backyards tomorrow night. The owner of Pyro Boys Fireworks, Bill Groombridge, says the lack of snow on the ground doesn't seem to be a factor for most people. In fact, he says the mild weather has many families planning to celebrate the arrival of the new year outdoors and with a big bang. Groombridge has some safety tips for anyone setting off personal fireworks.
Well, because we don't have the snow to pack everything down, I like to tell everybody a rule of thumb is if it feels like it can fall over, it will. So we're telling people put weights around the fireworks, or you can even put a piece down, put a couple screws around it, wrap it with a piece of tape so things just don't fall over. Just make sure that the person lighting is sober. That's the biggest problem we always hear. We hear the bad stories, and it always has alcohol in it.
The fireworks trailers will be open again tomorrow until about 7 o'clock. As we count down the hours to the New Year's Day, many people reflect on the previous 365 days and think of one way to better themselves for the year ahead. We headed out to see what New Year's resolutions some Thunder Bay locals are making for 2024.
My New Year's resolution, buy more Pokemon cards.
Work out more, eat more vegetables, and love family more and love friends more.
To definitely get healthier and to travel.
Gonna try to eat better, drink less pop, work out more, just getting the healthy lifestyles.
To be kinder to people.
So I've been thinking a lot about this, and what I would really like to do is get some washboard abs.
Quit vaping?
Not really, haven't thought about any yet, but probably later.
Get more exercise, I guess. Be more athletic like I used to, because I was in high school, I used to do like track and field, but lost a lot of steam since then, I guess. I don't know.
Meanwhile, Thunder Bay's top politicians are also using the new year as a time to set goals to better themselves. We spoke with our local MPs, MPPs, and the mayor about their New Year's resolutions.
My resolution would probably be to not work quite as hard all the time. But, resolution, meet people, have good conversations, have opportunities to listen. and also opportunities for me personally to have quiet time also.
Oh, I don't know. You ask my wife what I should change about myself. I think I'd have to tear down the old structure and put up a whole new one. I don't think there's any tinkering around the side. And I guess that's the good and bad thing of about being old. I ain't changing my spot, so I'm not even going to try.
I'm hoping that I could probably put a few hours less in a week because unless you're strong, you're no good to anybody. So I'll try and be a little bit more social and get out into the community a bit more too.
I have never done, quite honestly, New Year's resolutions in the past. I always remain positive and focused on what we can be doing moving forward, both personally and politically. That's really what my focus is every year. So.
Well, aside from some personal attributes that is a lifelong progress, I'm always working on my patience and self-restraint. I would say that as I get older, I'm realizing the importance of exercise, of weight-bearing exercise. I'm in my late 50s now, and I'm realizing that I need to protect this asset that I have, which is being healthy. And so I'll be really focused on that this year.
And we're now joined by sports anchor Joe Sadowski. I think my New Year's resolution is to continue to go to Thunderwolves hockey games every weekend.
You don't want to miss it,
If you want to
man.
jump in with that, me too. Jump in as well. I think we could both pull that.
Absolutely. Thunderwolves hockey, you won't want to miss it. We'll have those highlights and more coming up after the break.